Welcome, Sojourners. You have found yourself a cozy place here at Sojourners Awake. I'm Jonathan, and this is our production of The Bookish and the Brave. If you have been following along, you know that the Bookends, clad in their indigo robes, are on a mission to Boshin. But before all that happened, and before they arrived at Baldtop Library, the Bookends encountered a Dryad within the forest. That Dryad is none other than Triyina, who plays in The Fairy and the Free. The Fairy and the Free in the Bookend is my attempt to mash up two stories in one universal timeline. And of course that adventure collides together in this episode today. Chronologically, this episode occurs before the Sojourners return to Boshin, and right after the episode The Bookends Apartment in the series The Fairy and the Free. So hopefully you're following along with both stories and enjoying the stories out of Baldtop Library in the world of Bonsarel. In this most recent production, we discover Vaughn's reaction to the break-in in his apartment. And a special thank you to each of my players who play Vaughn, Sterling, and Hawkins, as well as Triyina, Simoon, and Birdie for participating in this wonderful, beautiful collage of storytelling. And so for now, our story continues. Ice frosted over the orange orchard outside the gymnasium. And inside, grunts and shouts sounded forth as training and competitions kept the wardens fit during the bitter winter months. 3 days stood before the Bookends were to leave from Baldtop on their way to Boshin, with a mission in order to investigate this hidden knowledge of the Ging Watsums and to deal with the discovery with all of their authority. And within the Orange Blossom Gymnasium, students and wardens perform their various routines of exercise and competitions. Vaughn performs his routines alongside Hawkins, while Sterling in and out for the day on various missions. And Vaughn, as you perform this exercise routine, how do you appear?
So Vaughn is shirtless and sweaty and just having a blast. He's jumping in with every person he possibly can to participate in whatever anybody's doing. So if somebody's doing sword play, he's going to do that. If somebody's working on martial arts, he's going to jump in on that. If people are working on their acrobatics or their climbing, he's just going from station to station, kind of turning it into his own little CrossFit type workout, just going crazy, trying to being fit and showing everybody.
There is a young woman and she's straining hard. Every muscle in her body is tense, beads of sweat stinging her eyes as she's held in this contortionist position, holding her body aloft between two beams. Her body extended between these beams. Every muscle in her body is shaking, and she blurts out with spit and sweat, "I can't hold it any longer. I can't hold it." She's counting 27, 28. The energy emanating from her, Vaughn, compels you into action.
So Vaughn is going to make his way over to her, and he's going to say, "You can do it. Hold on.
It hurts. I can't. I'm going to kill myself. No, I can't do it.
It's supposed to hurt, and you're not going to die. Keep going.
I'm going to break something."
I'll catch you if you fall." He's not going to touch her, but he's going to get in a position where he can catch her if she starts to fall. Really fall.
Yeah, and she's about 5 feet off the ground, held between these two beams. And you can see that immediately above her is the next mark. Commonly, this form of practice is to extend your body between two flat surfaces, crawling upwards. She said, I can't move my arm." And there's one more beam above her that she can reach. to complete this competition.
You have to try. I will catch you if you fall, but you have to try. Do not quit.
You may make your persuasion check.
Natural 20.
Vaughn, you see that mixed with the spit and the sweat pouring from her body, a single salty tear bursts from her eye, and she bites down on her lip. Now blood, mixed with your words of encouragement, she moves her left hand and connects with the wall, then gets the strength and connects with the right wall, sending forth a signal, a siren, that a student has completed a challenge. Instantly, she falls. Instinctively, you catch, and she leans against your arms. Students begin gathering around. Well done, Fila, you did it. Her arms are just jelly, and she kind of laughs at you in a knowing way that she cannot move any of her arms at this point. Her legs just like jelly, and she collapses to the ground with her head in her hands. She looks up at you and says, How did you know I could do it?
I didn't, but I knew you wouldn't do it if I didn't encourage you, so that's what I did. And you did it. Congratulations and good work.
One of the students pulls her up, slaps her on the back, and she goes off to take a rest from completing this challenge. Hawkins, during this time, how do you appear?
Hawkins is spending a lot of his time at the range, trying to get his bolts dialed in just right. So he'll shoot a bolt from his crossbow and then spend 15-20 minutes analyzing how it worked, how we can improve it, really focusing mostly on the tips, on the bolt heads. So not actually doing a lot of target practice, more working on the tech side of it.
Sigurd walks up behind you very imposingly and says, Hey, it looks pretty good there, Hawkins. You're doing all right, huh?
Yeah, well, it is working pretty well. It's just, it doesn't always, the whistle on this one doesn't always work, and I'm not sure if I need to make the hole a little bit bigger or just change the shape a little bit.
Well, how about these? And he holds open 3 small darts with blunted tips. He says, Will these fit in your crossbow, you think?
I mean, they look pretty small. I'm not sure that they'll come off the string just right. I suppose I could give it a try.
You'll make it work. Hey, come over here. Philip, try it. Philip walks over. He's got wide eyes. His hair is perfectly combed. It looks like he hasn't sweat at all. Vaughn, you see what's going on. Sigurd welcomes this new member. Philip here, he's a new warden, and we're gonna teach him how to do a little target practice, a little dodge game, if you think. So Hawkins, you go ahead, free hunting, and he's gonna dodge every bullet, okay? And learn how to catch the missiles, deflect them, and what do you say? You up for that kind of game?
I think you'd better ask him. I mean, I'm just pulling the trigger.
Philip looks at you very nervously. Trigger? Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun. Don't worry about it. He pushes him into the ring, and there's a small, like a 40-foot gymnasium that drops down, gladiator style. Everyone can gather around the top ring and watch. Vaughn, why don't you get in there and provide a little extra entertainment for us all, and make sure to break Philip in perfect and smooth.
Of course. Vaughn will pat Philip on the back and jog into the arena.
Inside this arena, Vaughn, you can get a clear bird's eye view of where and Vaughn are hiding. There's little cover they can get behind. And the object of this game is to present yourself to the attacker, catch the bolt, and not suffer any damage. 3 points, and you're out. With the display of these many non-lethal bolts provides a level of pain. You and then a couple other monks have these crossbows at the ready. How do you proceed?
I think Hawkins is going to wait for an opportunity, not just to shoot, immediately, but look for there to be a distraction. I think actually first he's going to try to modify the fins on these darts to slow it down just a little bit, to make it fly through the air more slowly.
Fantastic. Philip skirts around a little bit, and then not seeing anything happens, he starts to come out of his hiding spot. And a couple darts spin around his face. He backs away a little bit quickly, but he backs into one of the false walls. The wall falls down, and he is now exposed with his hands holding up his body, lying on the ground. Hawkins.
He'll take the shot.
All right, make your attack. You're going for a 12.
All right, that's a non-natural 20.
Right in the belly. Oh, and he rolls over, holding his belly in pain. Oh, that's 1. Well done, Hawkins. Make sure he understands the penalty of failure. Vaughn, you're out there dodging bullets, catching them, providing some sort of model for this young monk. How do you proceed?
So Vaughn is looking at the attackers, and if he sees that none of them are quite ready to pull the trigger, he's going to do a somersault or a handspring and then get back into position again. He'll jump up and maybe do some Russians. He's kind of having fun with it. He's laughing, and as every time he dodges a bolt, he's going to take a couple steps closer to the attackers to make it a little bit more challenging for himself and to kind of dare them to actually hit him.
Okay. One's going to make an attack. As you press forward, they're going to get a little bit more. It's going to reduce your armor class by 2.
Okay.
They attack you with a 9.
That will not work.
And the bolt sings right into your perimeter. How do you respond?
Vaughn's going to laugh and then do another somersault in a different direction and get another step or 2 closer to the attackers. I think he's going to continue this process until he's either right in front of them or he gets hit.
Okay, they attack you with an 11 as you're getting closer. You're now within scaling distance of the wall, and you can see that the monks are behind this culvert, using it as cover, unaware that you've crept closer and closer.
So when Vaughn's within 50 feet, he is going to run straight at him, and he's going to use his step of the wind to run and jump, and he can jump up 10 feet. I don't know how tall the wall is, but he's going to jump up 10 feet, and if the wall's taller than that, he's going to try to use his acrobatics to scale the rest of the wall, use that momentum to scale the top of the wall, and he's going to sit on top if he can get there.
You can hear a gasp of excitement, and you're crouched down upon the edge of this wall, now crouching between 2 monks. In surprise, they recoil, now sitting on the ground, scooching along with their legs, trying to take aim at you. Both of them fire. One is a 21 to hit, and the other is 11.
So the 11 will miss, and the 21 would hit, but he's going to use his reaction to use the deflect missiles. And so whatever the damage is will be reduced significantly.
It's 1 point of damage.
Yeah, but he's definitely going to deflect more than that. So he'll take no damage, but what he's going to do is he's going to catch the bolt of the one that was going to hit him. So it was coming right at his chest, and he's going to reach out and grab it in front of him. And then he's going to flick it like he's throwing a knife, so that the point is now not facing him but facing the ground, and he's going to try to throw it right next to that guy's crossbow, or if he's sitting with his legs apart, he's going to throw it right between his legs into the ground, not into him.
And it just bounces off and flicks up and hits him in the nose as it rebounds off the ground. And Sigurd announces, 1 monk down.
Vaughn will laugh and do a flip off the wall back down into the courtyard.
Hawkins, at that moment, you have a clear shot of Vaughn, and once again, Philip exposing his back to you, confused at where all the arrows are coming from. How do you respond?
Hawkins will try to put Vaughn in his place a little bit. When he does the backflip off of the top wall, he'll try to predict where Vaughn is going to land and have a shot ready for him, like to place the bolt there at the time that he lands.
Make your shot.
24 to hit.
And these bolts are non-lethal, but they do 2 points of bludgeoning damage.
Yeah, so if this is the same round, I will not have another reaction. So I'll have to take that damage.
Yep, right in the back. You feel that sting in your back, and you turn around and you see Hawkins.
He'll pick up the bolt and he'll show it to Hawkins. Nice shot, my friend.
At that point, with one of the monks down for the count, a volley of arrows strikes 1, 2, 3. Philip down for the count. Vaughn outlasting the round. You're able to collect the flag on the other side of the game, of the other side of the arena, ending the game. Everyone begins clapping, and Vaughn, Philip, and Hawkins are gathered around, finishing up. A couple towels are nearby to wipe the sweat from your brow. Suddenly, a white hawk, speckled with brown, dives between the open skylight and perches on a nearby balancing beam. Hawkins, you see its eyes begin to flash red, indicating this construct has a video message pending for you.
Hawkins will approach it and say the keyword to activate.
Have you remembered this password? With many passwords logged in your memory, you recall the most simple one, so go ahead and make a history check then.
That's a 17.
Oh, indeed, it is enough. The password is successful. The first time is a charm, and you get this little holographic projection of the image of a young man and the following audio context. Age, 22. Height, 5'10". Athletic build, young. Male. Eyes, silver. Hair, dark brown. Skin, olive with streaks of gray. Last seen wearing orange trousers, sleeveless tunic, and a headscarf. And then you see the young man as it is described, and he is standing on top of Vaughn's bed, and he is staring back at the video camera. The recording occurred only 5 minutes ago.
That's my bed. What is he doing in my room? Vaughn's going to hand the bolt. He's still holding Hawkins' bolt, and he's going to hand it to him, and then he's going to sprint whichever direction is the quickest way to get back to his place.
Hawkins, having designed this construct, it seems to have worked well for now. And Hawkins, in your hearing, an alarm sounds from Vaughn's apartment, indicating that the jerry-rigged alarm system that you just recently put up, one of the weapons has been removed. It sirens like a whistling tea kettle.
Hawkins will try to run after Vaughn, but won't be able to keep up. So he'll shout ahead to Vaughn the information that he knows. They've been playing with your weapons. They're in your room. Looks like about 5 minutes ago. They might still be there.
They better hope they're not still there.
Pushing yourself to your limits, Vaughn, go ahead and make an athletics check.
Athletics is 9.
A 9. When you arrive, a warden there dressed in purple. He is standing with a clipboard surveying the entrance to your apartment. Hawkins, you arrive shortly thereafter. Bookend, I am Jack DuPont. I'm one of the wardens, and he flashes you his purple vestments. It looks like here we got a crime scene.
Yes, this is my place.
This is your place? Might I see some kind of identification?
I don't know what I would have. I definitely have I have my robe with me, my bookend robe, and
You,
yeah.
when you show him the indigo robe, Jack Dupont, he holds part of the robe in his hands, and he has a small spectrum of colors. And he has a card with a spectrum of colors, and he holds that up to the robe. Let's see. Yep, it's indigo. All right, this is your place. He sees you, Hawkins. Well, it looks like here we have a breaking and entering. Per protocol, I have not stepped through the domain. What you see, Hawkins and Vaughn, is a fist-size hole punched through your door that is now hanging upon the hinges. The key card has been activated. The electrical guard has been discharged. And there is some blood upon the floor. How do you respond?
Well, Hawkins, at least it looks like they took some damage from your traps. Thank you for that.
Yes, sir. It doesn't look like it. I mean, it obviously didn't drop them because they were able to get away. But I might need to put the traps a little bit closer to the door next time so that maybe can't even get through, or we find out while they're trying steal.
Well, I don't know why they would want to go to my place. I don't have anything that anybody would want. And with that, he's going to open the door as long as the warden lets him.
The warden does ask you as you enter, any known enemies here within Bald Top?
Not in Balltop, no. Not that I know of.
This could have been an outside job then. He writes something down on his paper. Vaughn and Hawkins, when you enter the room, the smoke of burnt dog hair drifts outside the open window. Upon the floor, the canine construct sizzles as its fur parts away, revealing its metal interior. Its previously glowing red eyes have now dimmed to darkness. Two short swords clattered on the floor, and a bow staff lie upon the floor. And the distinct smell of a redwood forest, honey and wine, fill the room.
Hawkins, they killed your dog. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fine. It's just a thing. We might be able to get it back to helping hands.
And they used my weapons. What could they have wanted? What is that smell? It smells like the forest.
That's kind of a familiar smell. That smells like the woods that we were camping in on our way here.
That's not good.
That's not good at all.
Both of you make an insight check.
15 for me.
22.
Hawkins, your quick thinking has served you well. As you survey the dog with its head decapitated in one corner, putting all these pieces together, this smells distinctly like the encounter you had with the Dryad, Triyina, and the fairy wolves.
Hawkins realizes this and glances at Vaughn to see if he has realized it yet, but he's not going to say anything. He'll turn instead to the warden and say, DuPont, can you find out whose access card was used to open this?
I am working on that right now. Kalan should be arriving here shortly and can give us that understanding. Let me study this. Ooh, this is an interesting... Oh, I do not believe that this lock is protocol for Baldtop Library. This is a much older model. Who installed this, I wonder?
I don't know. That was intact when I got the room. The extras were installed by Hawkins.
Oh, you did all this work?
A fair bit of it. My friend likes a challenge.
The whistling is still going on inside of your room.
If Vaughn knows how to turn that off, he'll look at Hawkins and ask him to turn it off. And then Vaughn's going to start looking around to see if there's anything missing or anything aside from the weapons on the floor and the bed disheveled, anything out of place.
Vaughn, as you scan your room, it appears as if how you left it. Do you look anywhere in particular to uncover what is pertinent to your search?
Well, there's not a whole lot in my room. And so Vaughn's going to look at his weapon wall first, and he's going to account for all of his weapons, including the 2 short swords and the bow staff on the floor. He's going to kind of mentally put them back in their place and then evaluate if anything's missing from there. And from there, he's going to check one desk and then the next desk. He's also going to then look, he can see the top of the bed. So if the top of the bed just looks like it's been jumped on, as we know, then he's going to also peek underneath the bed to see if there's anything under there. Under there was just maybe a locker with some clothing, and that's where the dog hung out. So,
Indeed, when you look under the bed, go ahead and make your investigation check.
that's a 9.
A 9. So far, everything is exactly as how you left it, though it does appear that there was struggle. You can see the beds has been moved around. It appears as if this villain that has entered into your apartment, standing upon your bed, moved around the room, dismantled some of your weapons, released some of your traps. Papers have been disheveled. The dog certainly created some struggle. And you can see that there's a little bit of blood that has stained underneath the bed where the dog found purchase on this intruder. Hawkins, while Vaughn is accomplishing this search, what do we find you doing?
He's gonna try to find the source of the smell of the red cedar smell in particular.
Make your perception check.
Natural 1, so 2.
Oh.
Okay, Hawkins, make a Constitution saving throw.
That's better. That's 21.
As you go searching around, you go into the corner of the room where the ale has spilled, and you see that the ale has soured, ruining some of the textbooks that you lent to Vaughn for him to study.
Vaughn, this wasn't you, was it?
Vaughn will look over there. Of course not. You think I would spill liquid in my house? And you think I would ruin your books?
All right, okay. I didn't think so, but here's some more damage over here.
Vaughn will walk over there and look.
Hawkins, your fingers begin to tingle as you lose sensation in your hand that touched the book.
Whoa, I wouldn't touch this. It's doing something funny to my hand.
Is it another book monster?
I'm just kind of losing feeling like it's falling asleep. Maybe some
Vaughn.
kind of poison or something.
Vaughn's going to pick up one of the short swords off the floor because he doesn't want to swing his long sword in this room, but he's going to get ready to smack that book if he has to.
You prepare and you see that the book makes no attempt to attack you. It appears that through an unknown alchemical concentration mystery of the universe, possibly some kind of discovery, this ale has acquired some toxic level of magic. And as it sticks to your fingers, Hawkins, your trigger finger feels numb and you have limited dexterity in your hands.
Oh man, this might mess up my shot for a few days. It's kind of feeling weird on my finger.
I would advise you not to touch anything in this room. And you see the DuPont starting to put gloves on his hands and says, "You're disturbing the crime scene. I know this is your place, but we've got to be careful now before we start touching everything, especially unknown liquids. You might want to go see a priest before you head out."
All right, thank you.
Vaughn will take a step back and then just start surveying the room again to see if he had missed anything.
Y'all smell that? Smells like somebody's been intoxicated in here. That's a lot of wine.
I don't smell the wine. I just had that one mug of ale, and it was already half finished. I don't know who would have been intoxicated in here.
As you've moved around your room, Vaughn, you now smell that your sheets are just odorous with redwood tree, forest, honeymead, red wine.
Why does my room smell like this? And he's just going to start following his nose to try to get to the bottom of it. He's going to lean over and smell the bed without touching it, but he's going to lean over and smell the bed, and he's going to trace to see if the smell comes stronger from any particular direction.
And when you sniff, Vaughn, memories of the forest and your encounter moving through the trees at lightning speed flood back into your mind, and the taste of the kiss returns to your memory.
It smells like that dryad. Was this her?
It must have been, or another of her kind.
You see his arm muscles just start to bulge, and his veins are popping out of his forearms as he's squeezing that short sword. And he's just, his eyeballs are big, and he's hoping that nobody says anything to trigger him right now, because he's ready to hurt something.
Well, DuPont pulls the trigger. This dryad, is this one of those enemies outside of Balltop you spoke of?
Yes, she tricked me. She made me kiss her, and she used her charm on me. I don't know why she would come back. She knows that I would kill her if I had the chance.
On a whim, Hawkins tries to say in Sylvan, which he learned because of the encounter with Triyina. He says in Sylvan, "Is anybody there? Can you hear me?"
As you say that, Hawkins, the wind gently lifts up a previously unseen letter, and it floats to the ground at your feet.
Hawkins will pick it up and scan it quickly, and realize it's not for him, and hand it over to Vaughn.
It's in Sylvan script, written in common. Vaughn, do you take the letter?
Vaughn takes the letter, as seeing that it didn't hurt Hawkins any more than his hands were already hurt. He'll take it from him, and if it's written in common, then he'll read it. He'll read it out loud. He doesn't feel like he has anything to hide from anyone. Well, anything that would be in that letter, and he'll stop himself if it gets to something that he doesn't want people to know. Queen of air and darkness finds her, she'll kill you. If the queen finds you, sired her. If the queen finds you sired her, she'll kill you. If you let anything happen to my daughter, I'll kill you. Take care of her. Her name is Aramente. And he'll start looking around, trying to find this kid.
Vaughn, I didn't think you were gone from us very long. How far did Triyina take you, and what exactly did she do to you?
Hawkins, you saw what she did to me. Unless I was unconscious, the only thing that I did was kissed her, and that was not by my own free will. When we went through the trees, I had no contact with her, and on the other side, she just turned around and went back to you. I don't know what this could possibly mean. I don't see any children, and I know that I did not sire any kids.
Hawkins, you remember reading about dryads. You know that the courts of the Fae in the land of dreams have a practice of imprisoning criminals into trees within Bonzarel. Oftentimes, these prisoners act as agents and wardens for the Fae that they serve, normally with further criminal activities involved, such as death or theft. You also recall, after studying the magic and encountering Triyina, There's always a loophole in escaping the bonds, oftentimes with creating a new bond between another mortal. And of course, this bond also has ramifications.
Vaughn, I'm afraid that you might have turned the frog into a prince, so to speak.
Oh, you need to use simpler words for me, Hawkins.
It could be the case that Triyina was just imprisoned, and your kiss somehow freed her with a byproduct. And I don't know exactly what that might look like, but it could possibly be in the form of another person caught in a tree or soul caught in a tree.
Why is she
And-
telling me that I have to take care of it? I don't see any babies here. I don't see any. And he looks around again to look for a baby or a tree or a something.
Now that you look for a tree, there is a small plant, a pot, black soil, sprouting up a small bonsai tree resembling the redwood that you had encountered and traveled through. And hanging upon this bonsai tree is a small silver cocoon.
Is the baby this tree? Hawkins? Is this tree the baby? I don't understand.
I'm not sure that I fully understand either, but boy, she sure seemed concerned that you would take care of it. Or her, I guess.
Well, if it's a tree, it can just stay in my apartment. I will have to get some more locks and another dog, but I will keep it safe until I get to see her again. Is there a kid in there? If there's a kid in there, you need to come out. I won't hurt you.
Now responding to the command of your voice, the cocoon begins to gently unfurl.
Vaughn takes a step back.
Standing about an inch tall delivers a slender green body like a flower shoot, a large yellow disc with drooping white petals like tresses upon her crown. And in place of two hands, two small green shoots like vines extend and curl at the tips. And then her eyes flash open and she looks at you.
Vaughn leans over and gets his face a little closer to it. Says, What are you?
As your breath whooshes over her body, she starts to come to life and grows half an inch, expanding in girth. The petals upon her crown become thicker and fuller. Her eyes light up. She extends one of her vines to gently curl around the tip of your nose.
Vaughn jumps back.
She makes a sound. Hawkins, it sounds very much like a sylvan tongue.
Congratulations, Vaughn.
Congratulations for what?
It looks like you're a father now. She's pretty cute, you know.
Vaughn leans in again and says to it, What has your mother done?
DuPont kind of sticks his head between the two of you and says, Congratulations.
Vaughn looks at him like, You better back off, buddy. What do I do? And he looks at her again, and then he looks at Hawkins and kind of smiles and says, She is very cute.
When you say that, she says, Awamante.
What did you say?
She blinks and says clear, Alamante.
Aramante. And then he touches his chest and he says, Vaughn.
She flashes her eyes again and struggles to issue out the word. You see that she opens up her consciousness, but the words don't come out. But instead, she says, Indigo. And her eyes flash the color of your robes.
Yes. Indigo. And then he looks over at DuPont. Says, come here.
Yeah, what you got?
And then he points at DuPont's robes. And he looks at her.
She shrinks back upon seeing DuPont. Her petals diminish, the vines curl closer to her stem. And she backs up.
Well, that didn't work, you know. I'm a new father. I don't know what I'm doing. Go away.
DuPont walks across to the side of the room and says, oh, I got the information about that key card, finally. It looks like it was one of the wardens. Oh, irony. I'll have to inform Kalan about this.
Why don't you let us take care of that? We know irony already. I think we might be able to talk to him.
Yes, I plan to have a talk with him.
DuPont kind of squares off to you, Hawkins, and says, are you pulling some kind of jurisdiction?
Vaughn's going to stand up real tall and stand in front of DuPont and say, yes, he is.
His eyes kind of big. Oh, well, I don't want to come between the effectiveness of the investigation or the law. Most certainly, especially not on a big day like today. He tries to barter with you with a cheesy grin.
I think, DuPont, you have done your job for now. We will wait for Kalan, and we will make sure your boss knows what an excellent job you did with this investigation.
Of course. Bookend. Sirs. Bookends. He nervously wraps up everything, does a gratuitous scan around the room, and then heads out.
Vaughn is going to lean back over to Aramonte and say, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you.
Her eyes flash indigo again. Her vines unfurl, and then they stretch to their full limit. And she grows a little bit more. But this time, she wanders over back to the cocoon and does a strong yawn. And then you hear her say, as clear as crystal, I need to rest if I'm going to be my best. And she sings it like a song before bed. She backs up into the cocoon and it slowly sews together shut. Her eyes close, and there the cocoon hangs upon the small tree.
Hawkins, we're going to need to secure this room again.
I'll get my supplies together.
I don't know about Triyina or what she's doing, but I will protect this. I will protect Aramonte. Oh, the rest of this note is for you. And he hands him back the note. And so Hawkins sees the part that says, I'm not sorry about your dog. You're insane. Someone could get hurt.
Well, I guess so. That's fine.
It's fine by me too.
She did come into your place. Wait a minute. Is she running around in orange pants now? Is she not a she? Because the image that I saw did not look anything like Triyina, or well, like the visage of the woman that we saw in the woods.
That's because it was not. Kalan steps forward through the door. Vaughn? Hawkins? I assume Sterling is close by.
He's off on an errand, but he'll be back shortly.
It seems we had a slip up in our security. I'm guessing by now you have guessed that Irony had access into your room.
Yes, I imagine that Triyina used her charms on him as well.
Triyina?
Yes.
Do you know... Wait. You can see him stammering, trying to connect the dots. Who is Triyina, Vaughn?
Triyina is the Dryad that charmed me in the forest and forced me to kiss her. And I haven't seen her since, but everything in this room is evidence that that Dryad had come again. He's not going to mention the tree or Aramonte.
Klon crosses his arms across his chest, furrows his brow, indicating his thoughts busy behind his mind. Triyina could be a coincidence. Well, let me tell you what I do know. Irony does have key cards to all the apartments. That is true. Oftentimes he does show and tells for various pilgrims wanting to make donations, investments, persons of importance. You've done the right thing by securing your room, but I can guarantee you the person that had access into your room today had the ability to, well, Hawkins, you can tell us how skilled they were. You were the one who established all these security measures, I'm sure.
There was some skill and frankly, some blunt force here.
Well, earlier today, Irony was allowed to take some very important people beyond the Emerald Door that we don't normally allow. They've done some good work here at Balltop Library. They were able to flush out members of the Cult of the Dead Three that arrived here, servants of Baal, Bane, and Merkel. Three gods who want nothing more than murder, war, and hordes of undead. We did not know they were here in Balltop, but they worked at the Balltop Brew for some time. You may know Birdie. She's one of the waitresses there. She did a heroic deed in flushing them out, so we gave her and two of her friends access into, he motions to Balltop Library, all of this. My best guess is that somehow Birdie and her two companions gained access into your apartment.
Maybe they should have been vetted a little bit stronger.
I've thought the same thing. We did owe them a great favor. I can't imagine why they would want to come to your apartment, though. They don't seem like the type. But now that I mention it, Triyina was the one who asked to go beyond the Emerald Door. He looks to you.
She had ill intention for me before. She must have ill intention again.
I'm sorry, Vaughn. I had no idea. Hopefully nothing was done that can't be undone.
Well, nothing is missing, which is peculiar as well.
He looks perplexed. Simple vandalism?
She left me this tree, and he's going to point to the tree.
Vaughn, I assume this means something. If you would like to take this further, I will honor your request, but I will leave the decisiveness up to you.
For now, I will be content with resecuring my apartment, and then if we could eliminate the access to my apartment for Irony, I would appreciate that. We will have a conversation with him at an appropriate time.
Well, Irony will have all of his access denied, and you will be able to speak to him without his robes.
We should probably plan that for tomorrow. I don't think today would be a good idea.
Sigurd had told me you were strong as well as wise.
Well, not feeling very wise right now, but feeling very strong. So let's wait till tomorrow.
Also a mode of wisdom. I will send some assistance here to get this cleaned up. Hawkins, sorry about. I'll make sure Old Man Whiskers can help you repair these things. But I leave you in the chaos and the ruins, and grateful that we have you here.
Thank you, Kalan. I am grateful to be here, and I do not see this setback as anything that will be more than a short-term hiccup.
Good. So you're all still set to go to Boshin.
In the next few days, we'll be ready.
It's good to hear. Hawkins, should you check your room?
I suspect, based on the nature of what's happened here, I suspect that I won't find anything. But of course, I'll check it out soon.
I will go with you. We'll check together.
The bustling nature of Bald Top has not ceased despite what happened. Books being carried, brooms being flown, tests being done. Kalan steps out of the room and surveys the blood upon the ground, shakes his head. Irony, irony, irony. He takes a sample of the blood, puts it in a vial, and walks away. And so for now, our story concludes. Do your line, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So Sterling walks past and sees the hubbub, and he's still a little bit wet. He just grabs Hawkins and Sterling and Vaughn, drags him into Vaughn's room, lays down on the bed like nothing's happened. It's, oh, what an interesting night. What happened with y'all?
That's great. That's great. Every story comes to an ending, so for now we must conclude. Thank you for listening, Sojourners. Your attention will not go unrewarded, and we look forward to continuing this adventure. If you enjoyed this background music and ambiance, then you should visit Tabletop Audio. Whether you're working out at the gym, studying for a big test, or just need some ambient music on your car ride, visit Tabletop Audio at www.tabletopaudio.com. And take the time to sojourn with us. For articles on playing your very own Dungeons & Dragons games, visit Sojourners Awake at www.sojournersawake.com. Don't forget to subscribe, and as always, may your story continue.